Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Habib Ali and I am an ICT tutor by profession. So welcome back to another lesson. In today's lesson we are going to be learning about how to link and add up cells which are present across multiple worksheets and how to create links between cells across different worksheets. So for today's lesson, I'm using a different spreadsheet called links, and I have 4 or 5 worksheets here at the bottom. Before I go over to the question, I would like to quickly explain some of these worksheets that I have created to use for today's lesson. So I've got a results worksheet here at the bottom, which is going to be consolidating all the results from North, South and Mid division. So for example, in the North worksheet I've got some sales figures that was made by the Northern division. On the South worksheet I've got similar sales performance made by the Southern division, and on the Mid worksheet is showing the sales performance made by the Midland division. So let's go ahead and look at today's question. So the question of the day is add up sales and costs for January to April across the North, South and Midland divisions to work out the overall profits for each month. So it's referring to North, South and Midland is these worksheets here. So on these worksheets we will have sales and costs for January all the way to April, and it's asking us to add up the sales and also add up the costs. So for example, a quick look, it's asking us to add up the sales for all the months from January to April for North, South and Midland, and secondly the costs for North, South and Midland all the way from January to April, such as this. So that's the first question. The second part of the question is in cell H2 of the results worksheet. So that's that one here. In cell H2 of the results worksheet, link the contents of the cell H2 from the North worksheet. So we've got something in the North worksheet which needs to be linked with the results worksheet. That's the second part of the question. Let's go ahead and have a look at the first part of the question because this is the most important part. So I'm going to go over to the results worksheet, and in C6 just here we're going to work out how much sales we have made for January for all these 3 different divisions, the North, South and Midland divisions. So the figures, for example, is this one here on North, the South this one here, and on Midland this one here. So these are individual, if you like. Such scenario is different branches. So a company having different branches, the company or the firm could be anything really. This is just an example. So we need to consolidate how each of the branches performed, and then by adding them all up to show an overall performance of the entire company. So this is what we mean by consolidating data and knowing the overall profit. So we're going to start by clicking in C6, and today I will be showing you 2 different methods of how you can add up the sales made across North all the way to the Midland branches or divisions. The first method I'm going to show you is using the plus operator, so the actual plus sign. First thing we do, we start by equals as we do for any formula or function. We then use the mouse and we click on the North worksheet. We then click on C6, which is the sales for January, and then we put the plus sign in, We'll talk about, keep an eye on the formula bar, and we'll discuss this in a minute. Then we put the plus sign because we're adding another sales in January for South. So I then go and click on the South worksheet here at the bottom. I then click on C6. I go ahead and press the plus sign again on the keyboard. I come down and click on the mid or Midland worksheet. And then I finally click on C6 for the performance of January sales for Midland. And that's the last cell that I am adding up to work out the overall sales for January for all these three different divisions. Now, once you have clicked on the last cell that you are adding up, you must remember not to click any other cell or any other worksheet, because if you do, Excel will continue to add this on to your formula. But even though we are on the Midland worksheet, because our formula is going to be appear on the results worksheet, what we need to do now is press enter on the keyboard, and Excel will accept this formula and take us back to the results worksheet on cell C6, which we have started entering our formula. So I'm going to press enter now. And here we are. So on C6, this is where we started entering this formula. Let's have a look in the formula and let's try and understand this formula, because it is something different. So equals north, now that's referring to this worksheet here. Then we have an exclamation mark. Now that exclamation mark is just simply, Excel uses this exclamation mark when you are getting information from a different worksheet, so such as north. That's all this exclamation mark really means, nothing major. So from the north worksheet, and then you've got C6. So that's telling you C6 is the cell reference on the north worksheet. So it's basically this value here, C6, which we have taken, or Excel has taken. And then it's adding, that's the plus sign, the south, something on the south worksheet, and is this cell here, C6. So C6 on the south worksheet, and then we're adding C6 cell value, whatever is inside, from the mid worksheet. So you can see north exclamation mark is referring to this worksheet, south referring to this one, and mid referring to this worksheet here. And from each worksheet, it is taking C6, the value inside C6 for each of the worksheet. And this gives us the overall total January sales that was made by these three divisions, which is consolidating data, giving us an overall total results. Once you have done the first one, you could, if you wanted to, do each one of these individually just for practice purposes, just like I have shown you how to do this, or you can use the replicate feature or the fill handle like we do, because it will work as, if you remember from another lesson, which is all about replicating formulas, relative and absolute cell references. Now, because the rest of the values, February, March and April, is one cell to the right, if we replicate this answer, it will absolutely work. So I'm going to do that to save myself some time. I'm just going to click on the bottom square and just drag it across, and there we are. By all means, do click on each one and have a quick look in the formula to make sure that the corresponding cell references is there. So you can see this time is D6 from all of them, which is the February sales from each of these worksheets. Remember, not from here, from these worksheets. And the March one should say E6, so there you go, E6, and the April should say F6, column F, row number 6. So there we are. So these are all absolutely fine. So that's the first method of adding up cells from multiple worksheets. Now the second method I'm going to show you to work out the costs for all these north divisions and the south division and the mid division all the way across. I'm going to show you in a slightly different way, possibly a better way, which I think you will prefer. Now, because it is an addition, what we can do is use the sum function, and rather than using the sum function to add cells within the same worksheet, we can also use the sum function to add up cells across different worksheets. However, it is slightly different, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to type in equals, or you can use the AutoSum. I'll tell you what, I'm going to use the AutoSum because again we have covered this AutoSum feature in another lesson if you remember. So I'm going to click on AutoSum to get the sum function started. There we are. So you push the C6 in there. I'm just going to get rid of that. All I need is equals sum, open brackets and close brackets. Please keep an eye on the formula bar. Once I have done that, now I need to add up these three worksheets and only the cell C6 from C7, beg your pardon, very important this, otherwise I'll be adding up the sales again. So because I'm adding up the costs this time, equals sum, and then what I need to do, I need to get rid of this and then simply click on the north worksheet. Please keep an eye on the formula because you will not be able to see the results, so only by looking at the formula bar you will be able to tell what I am doing. So once you've clicked on the north worksheet, I need to hold down the shift key. Very important, not the control key, it will not work. I need to hold down the shift key and then click on the last worksheet that I am taking cells from to add up. So this is, remember, when we use sum functions, we always use a range. So my range is basically this, from the north worksheet all the way to the mid worksheet, and the south worksheet will be automatically included. That's what a range means, if you recall. So I repeat, once you've clicked on the north worksheet, you hold down the shift key on the keyboard and then using the mouse you click on the mid worksheet. And by doing so, it will include all three of them, all three of worksheets. Now, if you have a look here in the formula bar, you've got north and then colon, which is representing everything in between. And then you've got the last worksheet. So the colon is in a way is representing the south worksheet. So it will be included. Please do not worry. Once you have done that, you've told Excel, look, on all these three worksheets, I want to add up the cell C6 from each, I repeat, from each one of these worksheets. So from north, I want to add up C7, I keep getting this wrong, C7, very important, because I'm working out the costs. So C7, and then from the south worksheet also C7, and from the mid worksheet also C7. But we don't need to type this in. All I'm going to do is click on C7 and Excel puts it in there for me automatically. Now, so if we were to read this, I'll tell you what, we'll talk about this in a minute. Once you have finished by clicking on C7, again, it's very important that you press the enter button for Excel to accept this function, and it will take us back to the results worksheet. So I'm going to press enter now. There we are, we're back on the results worksheet, and there is my answer for the costs for each of these divisions, the north, south and mid. So let's have a quick look at this formula bar and have a little chat. So equals sum means add. Now we've got a range, but this time a range for the worksheets. From the north worksheet, which is here, all the way to the mid worksheet, which is here, and then on each of the worksheet we're adding up the cell C7. So C7 from north, C7 from south, C7 from mid, and this is how we get £11,500 for the costs. Once you have done that, again, I'm going to replicate. If you want, for practice purposes, you can type each one for each one of these months. This will be good practice for you. I'm going to simply replicate using the fill handle all the way across to April. And I've got all my answers. You may have noticed that the profit is working out itself simply because I have included a subtraction formula here to work out the profit for each of the months. So you can see for January, we've made a bit of a profit. For February, because the cost is higher than the sales, we've made a loss, and so on. So this is how we work out, or we use different cells from different worksheets to add up and get some answers. Now remember, these answers that we have got now are all linked. This is the main focus of today's lesson. They are all linked with these some cells within this range here. So if any of these values change, the corresponding values here or cells will automatically update itself. That is the nature of formulas and functions and any kind of linking that we do. So I'm just going to show you a quick example by changing something drastically. I'll tell you what, I'm going to change this one to 0. If I change it to 0, the sales should update automatically on the results worksheet. There we are. So we've only got 8,405 because we've made in south we've made nothing. In north we've only made 4,760 and 3,645. So 4 and 3 is 7 something. So 7 something. 8,405 sounds about right, but if you're not sure, you can use a quick calculator just to work it out for your own benefit. So but these calculations will be very accurate. You do not need to worry about that, but please do remember the purpose of using formulas and different cells from different worksheets, that they are linked, they are related. So if anything changes or is updated, which will do in the real world, you may have made different sales within different years and so on. So the results page will automatically update itself. I'm going to display the formulas and just to show you the difference between the two methods that I have used. So you can see just here. So north, this is where I am using the plus operator for each one, and then here I'm using the sum function. So you can see there is quite a bit of difference between the two methods. You just need to pick the one that suits you best, but please do bear in mind the sum function will only work if the cell that you are adding up from each of the worksheets is the same cell. Otherwise, it does get quite complicated. I would recommend you stick to this method. Okay, so that was part of the first question. I'm just going to take the formulas off and let's go back to the question. So we've answered the first part of the question. The second part of the question was in cell H2 of the results worksheet, link the contents of cell H2 from the north worksheet. So H2, so in results H2 just here is asking us to match or link the information from H2 from the north worksheet. So Dave Smith, we want to somehow link the same contents of this cell on the results worksheet here on cell H2. Just going to zoom in a bit. So again, this is part of linking. It's quite straightforward. All you have to do is click on equals, use the mouse, click on the north worksheet and simply click on H2. Now you can see in the formula bar equals north H2. If I press enter now, you can see I also get Dave Smith here. Now just to show you that the link is live, and if anything, or if the contents of cell H2 on the north worksheet changes, so I'm going to click here and just type in my name. Habib Ali and press enter. Now by pressing enter, because this is linked to the results worksheet in cell H2, I should straight away, when I click on the results H2, I should see my name there like so. So this is how we link worksheets within the same workbook or spreadsheet. Now I will create another lesson in the future to show you how to link cells across different workbooks, because for this lesson we have only linked cells across different worksheets but within one workbook. So in the future another lesson will be demonstrated showing you how to add up cells or even do other different mathematical operations using different workbooks and different worksheets to do calculations. So that's the end of today's lesson. Please do leave a comment, or if you have any questions, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, don't forget to like and share this lesson and subscribe to our channel if you have not done so. And I shall see you over in the next lesson. And please do take care of yourself until then. So goodbye for now.